Speaking. We all do it so commonly in our day, and so often do we need the principles and the ideas and the skills that we utilize in speaking. But the problem is that public speaking, the most widely used and widely accepted form of speaking, is often one that we find extremely shy and we try to take away from so often. And it's this inherent problem that this public speaking is so feared, of why I believe that delivery is more important than invention in public speaking. Because I believe that people often believe that public speaking should be about inventing new points rather than simply delivering the information. And I believe this for three reasons. First is because of the theoretical definition and what the purpose of public speaking is for, of the idea of public speaking being an invention created for us to convey ideas and to put our thoughts out there. Not a medium in order to invent new ones, but simply one to effectively convey our thoughts to the world. Secondly, it's because of the practical use of public speaking in our lives. When going in for an interview or when giving a public speech to friends or even when conversing amongst classmates, it's absolutely essential that you are capable of conveying a message and delivering an effective set of beliefs to those around you. And it's because of these two reasons that I firmly believe this statement. Now, looking to the first idea, that the theoretical definition of speaking is by definition created in order to convey meanings. We're saying that it was even created initially for politicians to put forward their bills, to put forward their legislation in the most comprehensive and complete way as possible. The only way to guarantee this was to make sure that this speech was refined, was rehearsed, was well established before they go up to the plate. It's because of the inherent idea that we practice speeches over and over, and we're not expected to improvise when we walk up to the platform. So it's because of the fact that this theoretical definition strongly supports that it, by definition, is speaking, not writing, not creation. It is the idea that you are delivering a thought, putting it out there for the world to see, that makes speaking such a unique and such a wonderful art in my world. Second, it is because of the practical use of it. It's important to realize that public speaking was created in order to be concise, clear, and efficient. In some words, it was created in order to be a great note-taking ability. In most of your classes at school or wherever you might go, it's important to note that whenever you're listening to a public speech, you're not just listening to it to have a good time, unless you're listening to the State of the Union. But instead, you are listening to that public speech for the information that you get. The only way you're going to be able to get effective information is if delivery is prioritized. If it is effective, it is easy to listen to. If it is easy to note take from. And it's because of this practical use that it's easier and more efficient. Now, we can see this in several other ways as well. It's important that it's used in a manner to convince people, because that is what public speaking by definition is really used for. In order to not just convey thoughts, but convince and persuade a group towards a certain set of ideals or a certain set of standards. If you want evidence towards this, just look at what public speaking essentially does. Just look at this own speech. I'm trying to present to you my thoughts and my opinions on a resolution. And that by definition means that this speech is for convincing. And the only way to do that, the only way to effectively convince, is if I myself have a prescribed doctrine about what I believe and how I can effectively convey that to you. After all, that's what an outline is. Lastly, it's because speech by definition needs to be nebulous and non-original. This is the only way that you can actually appeal to a diverse audience. If you are just stumbling through, if you are just trying to invent as you move on, you inherently lose the ability to restructure your speech, to be able to change a few things around and ultimately modify it more to be appealing to the audience more so. And it's because of this, by definition, because of the practical use of the fact that we want speeches that are efficient, that we want speeches that are effective, and ultimately because of the theoretical definition as well, that public speaking was created to showcase a set of ideals and put your thoughts out there, not necessarily invent them. That medium is already well defined in writing. It's because of the fact of this theoretical definition and its practical use that I believe speech is critical to convey what you are saying and not necessarily to invent what your beliefs are. Public speaking was created to convey and display. It was created so the delivery could be there in order to convey your thoughts to the world. Please, I urge you, next time you give a public speech or next time you're simply speaking to friends, keep in mind that your speaking was intended simply for the delivery of points and not necessarily for the invention of new thoughts.